And we're back.
Alright.
Sorry about that, guys. I think the updated in OBS tonight. Fuck this thing. It's acting crazy as hell. So turned off a bunch of things, see if it will work right. Not sure what the problem is. I can't quite get it to stop fucking with the audio. So try to do a few less things to see if we can keep the charts clean in the audio. So what I was just talking to you about, we'll pick up where we left off. Is I was trying to put up the gold chart again next to this thing. So the blue leg. And give me a second to get my stride back here. Where is it? So let's get a color I can use. Let's use orange, I guess. Like, so this entire area, like, where we're looking at Roger's ass, like, once this angle clears to be where a high shockwave forms and lets us get a chance to play like another rip, if that's the case. So north of the whole thing, including the wick of the high, like 14K up here, right? 13.8, whatever. All of this is your markup, right? We'll just stick with eggplant TA. So all of this is your potential markup range, right? And then some. You don't have to participate in the entire range from 14 to 7 to make a phenomenal play in Bitcoin. And we're talking about with KJ, right? KJ's room, he said he opened it where? In November 15th, right here. Think of what that is. This is literally the same thing. KJ's room participates, here. Oh, that's never a good thing. People made millions in just that part. Just that. You don't have to catch the low of the number 2, right? The 3,000 spot where Jamie Dimon fudded people out. You didn't have to stand in front of that train to get anything out of it. You could have very well participated north of fucking 7,000 on the way up, and that was like insta fucking money. So when you look over here, right, see this purple zone? That's north of fractal plebs, that's your markup from this leg to here. And if he clears this entire structure again, this entire range, I drew it too short because I have the stupid toolbar, so it was in my fucking way. Alright, to get to the climax blow off of BTC. And that's the only part you clear out. You don't clear out the climax either. The part in the middle is where the easy money's made. And when you watch people killing themselves in $200 range down in like the 7 and 8,000s, you have plenty of time to play and structure a plan wherever the fuck. I know we left off talking about some of the investors and traders, and I had a chart that made sense of that. I talked about it in many shows past, but I'll put it up again. You guys still there, right? Burger. Mic check.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Let's make sure. This one, right? This is the same thing that we're talking about. People talking about like, oh, well, as an investor, I'm above the fray of the noise. You can't tell me which one of those is a day trader's time frame versus which one is an investor's multi-year time frame. They're exactly the same. So if it's about like managing risk and not losing X amount over time to make some expected return, you are fundamentally doing the same thing in any time frame. To label one fucking investor and one trader means you don't know what you're fucking talking about at all. And when you say it to somebody who does, we have to take our time to help you understand you know what you're talking about. Not everybody's going to do that for you. So, do your homework when you know what you're talking about, do some research. There is no difference. And whoever told you that stupid shit that you're avoiding noise, like there's no noise in the chart across years, you're just fucking not paying attention to what the fuck's going on. And you probably don't have a stop, which means you're irresponsible. Holding something aimlessly with no fucking idea of how much time exposure, any idea of fucking drawdown, and hope it works out, or how much ever fucking time of you piss away in opportunity cost looking at anything else, that's an idiot. Warren Buffett doesn't just hold because he's a fucking moron, It's like people look at that and think, okay, Buffett is like some kind of investing genius. You want to make Warren Buffett's investing strategy extremely simple to you? Let's go here. That's the gold control side. Let me just use this side. Does he use like some really interesting value metrics? Yeah. But overall, think of things like GE. Let's put GE on this thing, right? Uptrend, 1979. HODL. That's his investment strategy. Just plays the same thing on a really high fucking time frame. That's it. Same thing. Could be 30 minutes, and you could go fucking uptrend, HODL. See it? You don't know that trend is in fucking a quarter century or fucking like 2 days. Structurally identical. The moving average, the same, and fractally similar to the price, all time frames. I take this label off, you don't know shit. See how simple that is? There's no difference. Anybody telling you that doesn't know anything about fucking markets or trading. Price is self-similar, all time frames, and so are the behaviors. That's the essence of fractals in markets. That's why we look at the crash cycle and daily charts, hourly charts, weekly charts, because it's the behavior of people. The only thing different in scales of time is the amount of people who got to participate to create the structure. So that's one of the core logics. If you guys haven't read Fractal Truth of Markets, I invite you to do so. I'll give you a good background on that. Also, Truth of BTC, where I introduced fractals to crypto.
Kaz, your voice is kind of low, I'm hearing. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying in the chat, that your voice is a little bit low.
That's weird. All right. Fucking audio is fucking nightmare. How about now? Voice good now? So Fractal Truth of Markets, read that, and Truth of BTC on the blog. Both those give you a good introduction to fractals in markets. The introduction was in Truth of BTC, and then all the research that was done and predictions made with it are in Fractal Truth of Markets. Also, Altcoin Winter 1 is in Truth of BTC. But this is the thing, if you believe that investing is something different than trading, and in your mind that's a belief that's strong enough, then you'll see what you want to see. But I gave you a very, very objective way to see that the fundamentals of both are actually the same, and the only thing different in most people's perception of what they're doing when they're doing one or the other is the time frame involved, which is really just nonsense to even do that. Let's see, dance with no negative doom comments. What happened next 2 days? Visa traded 40%. So greedy people with the analysis like, here is our said pull divergence. What is he saying? So like Dancewood says, you removed your orders because of your mood. That doesn't make any sense. If you had a plan and you had a line in the sand of where you said the trend changed, then that's it. Your emotions shouldn't be part of that. Like, you write down a plan specifically to take your emotions out of your plan. If you make choices about your risk logic because of your feelings, you're gonna definitely make some crazy ass choices. So that doesn't make sense. Anybody got any other good questions in there? Or
Yeah, there's a pretty long question if you want me to go over it. The Dances with Flies guy.
I'm looking at these ones. Is there a question or kind of just a statement?
Last show you talked about fractal formation 1, 2017, and its similarities with today's BTC market, pointing at low point and saying, this is basically what allows you to have a higher high, is that the whole crowd fucking basically flips and goes, you know what, it's over. And that allows the markup of the perception. I don't have the same perception that the same thing happened right now, even though a chart, which is people, shows it. I thought I thought sentiment and larger shock wave before this final drop was full of greed. Thing which stuck out to me was when I looked up at Benjamin Blunt's Twitter profile, who has 20%, 27% accuracy in the last 30 days on his public calls, where he shows chart which has $500 box range where bottom should be. I looked up at the comments and saw like dozens of people commenting they're buying right now, scaling in right now, and being kind of euphoric about it with no negative doom. And then what happens in the next 2 days, BTC surges to 40%. So greedy people with analysis like, here's RSI bull div, I go all in, were actually the smart money. What the hell?
2 days.
I think you,
I don't think.
what?
I don't think you can actually say what you're saying right there, right? So 2 days from when Benjamin Blunt says that, like, what's 2 days in BTC? Like, you don't know who stopped out or who still has that, and that's an assumption you're making, because that's why the sentiment really was at the bottom of this thing. You're assuming they made money, right? You don't know who still has that. You said 2 days from when this thing takes off. When does Benjamin Boss give it? He gives a $500 box range on this thing 2 days before we take off. So you're taking off on October 25th. 2 days before it is the 23rd, before he goes down. This box range, this is the box range that I showed you too. It's the same one. I think most people saw it. Where is it? Oh, wrong chart. Coinbase, right? So this box range. Let's put the chart up there.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So that box range is the box range most people saw. In real Rekt Hour, we told you that it could likely come and dump people out and hit the fucking full range of these nuts, which would have most likely stopped anybody out in this box range. That's what this humongous volume surge is coming out of here, is the kick out move. I'm sure a lot of people fucking found themselves in front of this thing and then ate that. That's what you needed to get them out. To assume that they survived this and then made the recoil, there might be some claiming it, but I guarantee you this structure of that price is the ejection of people in that box range. That's why I call for it. That's what you need to leave. You're not going to let every idiot actually get it. You're going to get rid of that idiot and then leave. And for the guys who didn't recognize where the low of this zone should be, they wouldn't have had any idea to fucking hold the line and stand at 7,400. This would have taken out everybody in that box range. This is a stop out of those people. That anybody who managed to not be negative and turn to like no regrets and start talking about 6,500 and 6,000 that actually speculated along, this is how you get rid of them, and then take their money along with everybody else who's short and fucking destroy them. So I think if you are sitting there making the assumption that they pulled it off from that point and you don't keep track of it, know for sure they survived this. If they're on MEX or anything like that, they're not going to survive a fucking 400-point dump bar with any kind of leverage. So I think, can some people win it? Sure. Should you expect everyone that you fucking are tracking to lose it? Maybe not. But if you find people buying in this box, you're looking for the people who died here, because they likely came from here. So I think you have to fucking follow up with it to make sure you know for sure they survived this entire move. And if they're buying, 2 days ago, they're buying above 7,800 and going to eat a 400-point bar and eat it on MEX and some of those places with even more extreme wicks, I doubt many of them who bought in that range would have survived. But I don't know that either. But don't make an assumption. You don't know that they fucking survived this move like this and came out of it. I know that the structure of this price is the structure that ejects people in ranges. So I can make an inference that this actually killed people in that range, because that's what the structure of price is doing, and I understand how to read it. But I think you might be more worried about who made money when you didn't, and letting that affect you and thinking, well, they fucking got away with it and I should have. And that might be fucking with your ability to think objectively about the parts of this that you know and the parts of it that you can't possibly know.
Yeah. Typically, a lot of people, when they play that range, they're putting their stops somewhere around those low wicks,
Right.
Maybe a little bit below, thinking, oh, well, as long as I got the low, as the low doesn't get taken out, I'm in this. And when you get a move like that to kick you in the balls, I mean, it doesn't just come close. It goes right through it and keeps going. And like you said, especially in this range, you also got to think BTC between 7 and 8K, a couple $100 is a bigger move than it is when it's higher up.
Right, exactly.
No, not that many people survive that.
Yeah,
If they did,
percentage
the risk
wise,
management, I mean, who knows what they're doing?
if you're
But
at any kind of leverage and survive the 400-point move, your fucking risk management is fucking atrocious, or you don't have any real money in there. News clippings, I do. Hold on. So on the blog, I actually have a lot of stuff. It said news clippings when Obama was in office during the bull market. Yeah, Super Mario. Check the footprints blog. That one shows you a lot of stuff that was going on across the time. I'll talk about a little bit of it on here to just show you some things about sentiment. But yeah, in watching BTC at the trenches, the sentiment did flip. There were people that were speculating long and stuff like that, talking bullishly until you got down here. But when that bar happened, like the fucking crowd, the breath came out of the crowd. Like it was crickets. When BTC was 74, there was crickets in every fucking Discord channel. There was crickets in fucking Twitter. Like that thing was enough to push him over the edge. And out of that emerges Jinping's perfect timing to help fucking destroy everybody who fucking had their head in the sand. Yeah, ninth letter. Yeah, the U.S. bull market, most hated bull market, and hate is a component that you need because hate's an emotion that will misprice objective reality. So people couldn't see the bull market for what it was because they were too fucking drowned in their hate, and they warped it. And that's what you need. You need people to basically not believe, just like you need people not to believe when you fucking got kicked in these nuts. And that's what happens. You have a crisis of confidence. You get kicked in the balls, don't you? Death of Auditune. All right, so what I said I was gonna bring up here. So he asked me. So I have some sentiment stuff from the Obama era that I think is pretty interesting. Let's see if I can find them all. Yeah, there's some things. And right, footprint bias. How can we spot a potential Black Monday too? Um, it's likely going to be coming off the tail end of a parabolic move into an event where the fundamentals you have to track to spot like a credit crisis. Black Monday was a crisis with United Airline bonds, corporate debt, and the spread differentials between them and risk-free treasuries is where you would pick up something like that. That is like so crazy. I don't think there's some place to take the convo. I'd have to teach you a lot of things before you start to look at like debt spreads and differentials and things like that, and knowing what normalized spreads are versus excessive ones to know where there's excessive risk in different parts of the system. That shit's I need a lot of front places before I just talk over your head, and it sounds fancy and you can't get it. Without knowing like that kind of stuff, your technicals can help you see something like that coming. When prices are accelerating really fast, you look at like this BTC chart, and a lot of people call this a Xi pump that no one could have predicted, but he does it in a technically sound location. I'm gonna talk about a few things with that and sentiment and Obama and some older charts. Let me see if I can put this together in an organized fashion. I don't confuse you. Hang on, I got like the maddest itch. One sec. Let's see, where's the other chart at? We'll pull it up on. Somebody asked for news stories from the era of Obama that was fucking with people psychologically. I kept track of some things in different ways. I have one comic first I'd show you. Let's see, where is it at? Always staring right at it, and then I don't see it. This is stuff I was keeping track of. Weekly conventional retail gasoline prices, right? And this is what, 2015? What is going on right now? So, tail end of Bush's era, we're hitting $4. Market dumps, and gasoline goes off a cliff. Then in the reflation trade, as gold is running up to all times in 2011, commodity prices are kind of moving with it, and this became his fault, even though they were originally that inside that era. When gas goes off a fucking cliff and like oil gets crushed and he opens up like oil production, Nothing is his fault there. That's the U.S. oil market saving the day. So they kept on making sure you never thought he did anything right. And it was easy because the race narratives that America's media has portrayed for minorities makes it really easy to fall for it. So they play the dumb black guy, and no one fucking believes he's doing anything right for the entire 8 years the market's arcing, which keeps you on the wrong side of the equation. And then you have guys like Sean Hannity sitting on Fox News, repeating it to a very racist base who's really susceptible to believing the lie and going, yeah, fuck him. I'm not even going to touch any of his shit either. Further removing the demand from the supply picture, which lets Hannity corner assloads of real estate by knocking out the buyers that would have took it. That's how you make a market. I have to buy your mispriced perception. If I tell you the leader of your country is a piece of fucking shit and I repeat it every fucking day, you won't buy his stocks and you won't buy his real estate. Have you seen the graphs of both of those shits? Guess who the fuck's in it, since most Americans missed it? And that's what a pump is really made of. All of your mispriced perceptions and getting all of you to agree on the wrong side and playing on your fucking fears. Fear of a black guy works because America has a racist past that they have never dealt with, to the point you have a racist president. And everyone who keeps trying to pretend it's not true enables the environment where this kind of news reporting actually fucking worked and fucked you and your family out of a generation of fucking wealth. You may never have to come to terms with it, but if your family's missed this entire pump, you're a fucking victim of that psychology, whether you know it or don't know it. This only worked because of the fact he was a black guy. This shit was not sort of obviously like one of the greatest pumps in history. You could be a baboon and have figured it out if you just use a moving average. Right? This is IXIC. Alright, we did this the other day, the pattern day trader law. So in order to get a fucking pump of this fucking size, you had to mind fuck everybody, right? Just like BTC. This looks like BTC's, 2017. And we know in 2017 that 95% of the people in Bitcoin in the entire existence of its life cycle arrived in 2017, and 2/3 of those people popped up in the fourth quarter. So people didn't believe it till like fucking here. So who's all here? This whole time the market's rising, people are damning Obama's name to the ground, and the news is feeding it, so they won't fucking touch it. I made fun of this actually with a comic in 2014, making fun of how funny it was, right? 2014, you're here. Like, you're about to clear the all-time high of the internet bubble, and no one thinks it's happening. Just imagine no one has seen this. Even with a basic moving average that a retard could put on his chart, no one has fucking figured out you're in a bull market at this point. So I made a comic to make fun of that because it's so ridiculous. I mean, how can you not, just if you're just remotely objective, fucking not see this? And this is a comic to play on the sentiment of the country, how well they mindfuck the country. KJ,
Yo.
you want to be Mitt Romney?
Okay.
I gotta be Barack. So we did this before. We're gonna do it again, and get inside the joke. This is a sentiment of what's going on in the nation at the time. So this comic is made August 26, 2014. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Hey, sup, Mitt? I said that wrong. Hey, Mitt, sup?
Just giving a quick call to let you know my friends and I won't be backing America or investing in it while you people are in our White House.
You people? Well, that's real unfortunate to hear for the country and the people, Mitt. Any real reason?
I mean, for one, your name, Barack, and two, you don't even look like an American. I mean, come on, Big O.
I got my hair, dude. You see my email I sent you?
Not gonna cut it, B.O. Shit. They can use the email now.
You've got mail. What?
What the fuck?
So this chart was a chart, this is one of the simpler S&P 500 charts. Yeah, this is S&P 500. Can't see shit when he's hitting 2001. And these are just bullet points from the news, right? Just on the way. So unemployment had been 10. It's declining. It's declining because of people leaving the job hunting field, as well as people actually finding some employment. The numbers, you always have to kind of parse through it. It's still true under Trump that you have people leaving the market searching for jobs, but the unemployment number is produced by the same agency under either president. It doesn't change for the president. Auto industry, ripple effect, knock on, gone. Banks bailed out, backstopped by the Fed. Toxic assets being taken off the balance sheet. All of the debt that was destroyed, which ultimately deflates the money supply, deflates asset prices in terms of the money supply, was replaced. So you effectively fill the pool of water back up, which means all the boats are going to rise. All right, so continue the comment. Can a brother get a +1?
Fine, I'll give you the haircut.
This guy has to do. Well, this is a Middle European. Well, that Ferguson issue is starting to make a lot more sense. Shut up. I don't know what country that needs to be, but you get the point. And so, yep. But you know what, Penguin? At least I know he got my email. So,
KJ. KJ's voice isn't white enough.
But so
you want me to really overdo it? We can do it again.
You want to do it again? Well, you guys get it. We can't do that.
You get the picture.
So like what you're seeing is like this is like making so much fun of it. Like forget the financials of it, forget the monetary policy of it, forget any of that. Just most people aren't that smart to even really debate monetary policy, fiscal policy, knock-on effects, interconnections between the economies of the world, you know, debt, any of that. The average person who looks at the world looks at it like this. And I just don't like you. Fuck any of your work. I hate you. Isn't that CT with my work? Well, he's kind of nasty. Who cares? I'm right. Fuck you. Money talks, bullshit walks. I don't give a fuck if you like me. I don't make my church for you to like me. If I'm right, we make a bunch of money. If you're wrong, we make a bunch of money. Who gives a fuck what you like? You make decisions based on if you like people. What are you, fucking 8 years old? That's fucking a child. And that actually is the conditioning that the media keeps you in. I don't like the Kardashians. You see Jay-Z? Fuck him. I heard about Beyonce. And you see people talking about shit like, bro, have you met these fucking people? Do you know them personally? Have you met me? I'm 40 fucking years old. You know how much shit goes through a person's head in 40 fucking years? You have no fucking idea. You don't know anybody. And saying I don't know opens you up to getting more information, which is what people won't fucking do because ego doesn't allow it. And the media fuels that shit. So you come to people telling you, well, you know what I believe? You know what I believe? And when you say that, belief is a death of intelligence. The fact that you fucking have a belief, it means that you've basically conditioned reality to fit into that belief structure and you've deleted information to get there. That's the fucking first danger. Where's your belief get installed at? Fox News, God help us all. I don't want to hear any of that shit. You toxic motherfucker. Like, you've been programmed. And that's how you got so many people sitting here justifying that the bull market happened. Well, the Fed did it. Well, does that make you feel better about having no fucking money? You keep finding ways to justify that it fucking wasn't happening, and then when it fucking happens, well, it wasn't his fault, and I didn't make a dime, but at least you fucking don't have to believe that he caused it, so fuck him. What money do you make by talking shit constantly instead of participating? It's like they're going to get a badge of honor if they can fucking stop Obama from getting credit for the market that he was the president of. While they didn't say, oh, Trump is getting credit for the market he's president of, and for some reason this black guy can't get the same thing every other white president got the benefit of. Yeah. If you wanted to know what a resume is of the president, it is the fucking national savings of the fucking people that he's presiding over. The stock market is exactly the barometer of the president's fucking resume. And if it crashes while you're president, the people aren't going to put you back there. Duh.
Dude, it's super interesting that Schiller came out.
Bullet.
Like, you go back to the last two episodes ago.
Right.
Where Schiller said, you know, the recession, we're going to hold off on the recession because of bullish Trump price action. It's like, who is he speaking to? Whose bias does that touch? You know?
Right. All the people who believed that the market was going to crash at any second that fell for the crap he said before when there was a black president, and he was saying the dumb shit that every other idiot said, which was no Nobel level prize fucking intelligence. It was just a typical bigot betting against Obama like all the other ones did. That might be hard for
the
people
same
to
people
follow.
that didn't participate are now like, look how great Trump's doing. Look at the stock market. And they're completely ignoring the previous 8 years.
Can't skip it, right?
That's how they die.
That's how you die, by making it make you feel okay about telling yourself bullshit to justify your stupidity. Nobody else has to tell you you're fucking stupid. That's the craziest part. I got one I'm trying to find here that's also good, an article clip.
Yeah, lubrication. People would rather be let down nicely rather than get a hard truth. I mean, look at CT. You know who thrives there? The nice guy. The nice guy fractal. Be nice, you know? They're not helping anybody.
They're just lying in your fucking face is what they're doing.
But they're being nice, You know,
They're being nice while they lie to you, so you love that.
I could do that too. I used to. And you know, when I stopped doing that, that's when people started talking shit. They got upset because I wasn't telling them what they wanted to hear anymore.
Telling you what you want to hear and telling you something that's useful is two
They'll
different
kill
things.
you.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. Um, Trying to
I
find this
stopped
other.
killing people. They started hating me more.
People don't know what they want. They know they want to see everybody else do worse than them. That's what most people benchmark their lives by. Is how are you doing? And if you can do worse than me, I'm doing relatively better. So most of the friends around you try to keep you fucking in the same place as them rather than support your ideas, because if you fucking take off, you make them look worse relatively. So it's
Yep.
actually in their best interest to make sure you don't get too far ahead of yourself.
The structure of a hater.
And the structure of a hater is to fucking pin you down with pressure to make sure that they keep a relative position and advantage to you. That's the reason they apply so much pressure. Your best ideas will often be rejected by your closest friends.
Jesus was homies with Judas.
You brought it back home. Topic KJ.
You still haven't watched my show yet, huh?
The rap show. I haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. We'll have a
Shit is
combo.
dope. It's dope.
Damn, where is it? I got a comic here for that. There's a pretty good clip. I always bring it up and I can't find it. It's in my blog. I might go to the blog and get it.
Yeah. Think about who are your most popular analysts on Twitter, TradingView. You have Magic Poop Cannon, Tone Vase, Peter Brandt. These are guys that are literally like horribly on the wrong side,
Horribly.
like consistently. Like it's not even close. It's like if you put them on the chart where they're saying what they're saying, it's like it's the same thing as Robert Schiller. It's exactly the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, those are the most influential people. So lest anybody think value is not scarce, you're a fucking idiot. Every time I've tweeted something of value, like the most valuable things that I tweet, nobody touches. They don't like it. I'll get like 10 likes. That's how I know. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, people like to have people like confirmation bias. They want people to agree with them. They don't want something that puts them out there like the lone wolf. They want to be safe in a herd, and that's what they want. This is Peter the leader. So people who talk about this guy now, he basically called the top of Bitcoin from 1,000 right to 20K, and then deleted it all.
Yeah. That literally like could have changed somebody's life.
Right. This is likely ruined
somebody's all of his followers.
This is a fraud. This is insane.
And then when it dumps, he says, "See, I told you so."
But the fact is, this is put out to Twitter. Everybody knows it. He's nicknamed Peter the Deleter. The fact that the crowd embraces him and leaves him out there to literally scavenge on their fucking own, that's why the crowd is actually responsible for their own nightmare. 1% doesn't do anything to the crowd. The crowd enables their own poison all the fucking time. Robert Schiller and this guy get to sit here because the crowd chooses to be woefully ignorant of fucking data that's public. This isn't something anybody made. This is his own timestamp bullshit that he then deleted. You know, when you have a 67-year-old man who's willing to cover shit up like this and fucking architect his entire profile to manipulate your fucking beliefs and him, that's a fucking dangerous person. You wouldn't let this person eat dinner with your fucking children. He's a liar. Call it what it is. If this is all deleted and you're out there saying you call the top of it, you're a fucking fraud, right? There's a 1 and 0. This is up or down.
He's just lying.
There's not a gray area to fucking what he's doing. He's just lying, right? So when I do it, Robert Schiller, Nobel Prize winning Yale professor, are you teaching people the shit that made you miss a $20 trillion fucking markup? Somebody should fire his ass unceremoniously fucking tonight. Like, the fuck? Call a spade, right? You're trying to find all my wrong posts. Here's all of theirs. Oh, well, we don't care. Why does he get a free pass? Are you judging him with a different test? Yes. The same kind of different test that you gave Obama versus Trump? Yes. You give a free pass to fucking these liars, and they lie right to you because you're enabling it. There's not sort of enough evidence to convict them all. That's why I put them in these comics and make funny shit out of it, because it's fucking hilarious. Who the hell can't see this? Do you really want this guy's advice? Seriously, anybody looking at this shit, do you really want his next fucking piece of advice? Look at this shit. Look really close at this shit. Own them from fucking sub 400, right? Exited Friday. Deletes this one, thinks no one sees it, but there's a thumbnail. The market is about to squash the crypto bulls like the bugs they are. He fucking hated people in crypto. The people who are celebrating, he fucking hates you. Read his fucking words. This is fucking May 2017. He wants to see you fucking dead. He's not fucking here to help you. He fucking hates you. And you love him? Then you wonder why he punches you in the fucking face and lies to you, because that's a stupid ass. So I put this here for crypto to realize this guy's going to financially fucking devastate you if you let him sit here. That's why I put it like this. This is to warn you. People like this 6 years down the line, you're working a job you didn't want to work because your finances were changed by this fuckface right here, and he gets away to sit in the past with a bunch of people whose memories are so short, they didn't even bother to do any due diligence to realize this guy's destroying families' lives. People who fucking trust him as who he's represented to be in his books and all his bullshit think he's trying to help them. No, he's not. He's not trying to help you at all. He tried to sell you some fucking bullshit that he's something he's not so that you fucking pay money to fucking just support him. He's a liar. This is his track record. This is actually his track record. You know why no one could fucking do this to me? Because I don't have this shit. So they have to attack my character. I don't attack his character. I attack his fucking actions. And these actions are the actions of a liar and a fraud and somebody that will mislead people. Why is he fucking accepted by the public? Because the public accepts poison. How do you have a misogynistic, racist president? Because most of the people who fucking surround him are slightly worse. He's not fucking anybody. The crowd that enabled him to fuck them. They fully deserve it. He is the result of the fucking crowd's, belief. If they could be in his position, they'd do it too. He's the point of value in a system of shit. He's king shit, but he is shit. So there he goes. I got out from the whole range. Fuck it. I have to be right now. It's the most craziest shit I've ever seen. But Robert Schiller, they're all the same. And they count on you never to look back at the history. And they count on the privileged position that society has given them to let them lie in your face every fucking day without accountability. And if you catch me, so what? At least I'm not black. You'll fucking shoot them on sight. So that's what he's getting a benefit from, is the fact that he can lie, and there's a system in place that lets people like this lie like fucking crazy. If you don't mind having your money fucking conned out of you by a guy like this, then go ahead and support it. But to people who actually respect the fucking profession of being an analyst, this is despicable. Anyway, that's a memo. Let's see. I try to find another fucking comic. I just can't find it. Well, yeah, the bull market requires hatred, and this is something you mark down here. This was the gun sales when they told you that Obama's going to steal your guns, and it's believable. The black guy's going to take my guns? Oh my God, kaboom. And he never took your guns. Every market you saw it. The biggest pump in the stock market, based on the fear of that guy. The biggest fucking pump in the fucking gun market, doesn't it look alike? Doesn't the gun fucking spike look like the stock spike that's got the same hatred for him in both markets? Can you see it? Fractals are funny like that, right? See it? The gun sales look like the stock market, don't they? Notice that the Democrat, when he was in office, Clinton, they used the same fear-mongering tactics, but he's white. So the element of fear wasn't as high. They did the same thing, and you add a black guy to the equation, and it's fucking kaboom. And it's the same thing in both markets, gun sales and the stock market. That was one of the reasons I was able to stay bullish for a decade. Nobody in their right mind is going to buy the stock market with the conditioning done to America, and they'll never admit it either because no one's going to admit they're racist. Perfect fucking setup. You lie to yourself, tell yourself whatever the fuck you want. If none of you touch this, I know why. And you never have to admit it, bitch, you're already caught. And I know why everybody let fucking a person like Peter Brandt stay on Twitter while attacking me while I gave you the intel that fucking smoked every other analyst that's nothing like me. It'd probably be the same fractal that allowed this chart to go kaboom and you not admit the fucking situation here either. Behavior is fractal in all systems, and that's the nature of my analysis. Fractal truth of markets captures this quite well in Message Over the Messenger. So that is what you require. Hate and playing upon people's fucking biases and petty natures is what they know how to do and do very well. Distributing messages that fucking fuel fucking hatred and put you in an emotional state of mind to make a decision that's against your own interests. That's this. Whatever the fuck narrative you sold yourself, your fucking life and your family's life is different forevermore if you didn't participate in any of this. Forevermore. You will die sooner in life because of the capacities you do not have. That's a fact. And I don't give a fuck what your position is on it. You're going to die sooner. Fuck your fucking opinion. So yeah, that is what you require in the market to get it to move. You require the fucking perceptions of people to be misaligned with it. It's why you need a person like this to send everyone into the depth of the trench. Like Novogratz, showing up when we're down in the 7,000 saying BTC's got to go down another $1,000. That's exactly what this move does. On the 26th, when Vinny shows up at the dead bottom of the entire crash of 2018 and then says it's got to go deeper, he adjusts the entire crowd's perception through the fucking floor, thereby fucking creating a fucking a quartered market of perception right in the ground. And that's what makes it cheap. Him fucking sending everybody in the wrong direction and creating a scarcity of perception in the other direction. Every idiot following this with the wide distribution of CNBC and him fucking being just a liar, basically then believing that they could fall even further after a fucking 80-90% decline, mispriced the realities of how cheap it had actually gotten, which allows you to corner the market and pump it right in their faces. So I show you this for your own benefit. People think I'm a troll for putting down the information that's them. Really think about it. How are you a troll if I said, hey, you said these words at this date at this time and it appears here? Aren't I just record keeping? And aren't you just fucking a salty bitch because your fucking ego's on the line? Because I've caught you being a pleb in a way you can never talk your way out of again. Because it's your fucking words, timestamped to fucking history. None of these are my words. This is your stupid eggplant sucking ass fucking sitting here talking bullshit at the bottom of the market and being wrong as fuck and nobody holding you accountable for it. Because the TV weaponized this eggplant motherfucker and sent everybody off a cliff. This is why I told you that. This is the reason we keep telling you for years frauds in crypto and MSM are causing most of you massive damage. Because they are, so for fuck's sakes, wake up! What else can you fucking say? I can't document and point more arrows at it. If this doesn't make it obvious what's happening that gets all of you wrecked, it's the very people in crypto you trust that are killing you, that are creating the price structures themselves. Price are people, and if people are mostly missing the moves that you see, then who's causing it? Do some fucking due diligence. Just fucking take their own words. You don't have to put any of your own opinion into it. Where'd you say that and when? If it's crap, right?
Yep.
There's no fucking personal nothing here. I don't know these people. I couldn't give a shit about him. He's an idiot, though. And that's by the empirical data that's supported right here. I don't need to have a conversation or anything. He can't talk his way about it or at all. There's no convo required. I have located you in history. Fuck your opinion. And that's what I do to keep objective research in front of me. That's why crypto hated it. Because there's nothing you can fucking say about it at all. This was the George Bush era between Clinton, right? How in the world don't you notice what's on both sides of this fucking this 8-year span? You don't have to like Democrats or anything, but the bottom line is that the monetary supply supporting social programs under liberals means that Democrats are massively inflationary to asset prices. Democrats expand social programs, which puts fucking more debt on the book of the fucking country. The central bank gets to expand the monetary base much easier when you're expanding social programs. Asset prices reprice in terms of money credit. Increased debt means increased asset prices. So Democrats literally are fucking really bullish to asset prices. If you actually understand shit about the two sides of the parties. You're looking at it right there. Because people don't understand money, they don't know that. They think money is not supposed to fucking move. But money credit, which is attached to the debt that is attached to the fractional reserve lending system, that's not that same system. So when you understand money, you would totally know that that markup's coming under a fucking Democrat. While they tell you that Republicans are good for your money, look in the middle. Does it look like it? That guy ate 9/11, the worst fucking attack in U.S. history. Then the dream of owning your own home ended under his watch. He's literally the anti-dream of America. The death of civilians in New York City, you got a free pass on. Can you imagine if Barack Obama was the president when 9/11 happened, what they would have said about him? Could you dream of what the news coverage would have been like for his whole presidency had he done that in his first year? George Bush became a hero for allowing that to happen in New York City. Think about that. That's the bias, right? And from 9/11, which is like here, Armageddon to the whole country happens. The country is literally worse off for that guy's entire presidency, and it finishes on the dead lows of his presidency. And you skip this to talk about Clinton and fucking Monica, to talk about Barack and this, that, and Benghazi, so you can tarnish both their reputations and ignore the empirical data. Your hatred will make you miss this when it comes around again because you're so busy trying to knock people down. The reality is, these are their resumes, and it destroys the fucking Republicans around them. These are the two baddest pumps in fucking history. And if you understand, like I said, if you understand the fundamentals of what goes on inside Democratic fucking presidencies and what their goals are to keep their constituents happy, they expand social programs. They are 100% inflationary. They're exactly what you want if you're fucking speculating on asset prices and hedging against time value of money. So that should be a perspective on bias and a couple of things in that. And yeah, we covered that. How much time we run here? I know we're on 2 halves of the show, so I'm sorry about the show being split in pieces, guys. I don't know what the hell. OBS is running crazy, and it fucked me up in that first half. Let me catch up where you guys are. Foles go, respect on the bits. Thanks for making it rain on the show, man. Fractal L, you too. Sorry I had to catch up on these guys and didn't shout you out. I didn't see them. Let me catch up on comments here. Ferdinand Bull, respect, sir. Appreciate you. CT's always on these nuts. And soon they'll be fucking getting a fucking foot right up their ass. Roger's ass. Let's see. Haters are gonna hate. That's their fucking job. If they weren't hating, they'd be crowding my trade.
I'm back.
Tengoku, yeah. And now with Trump, people staying out. People stay out like, so you got 8 years, like KJ was talking about, right? Once the price leaves the bottom, you start to try to become the guy who catches the top. So you can't deal with that it's gone from the bottom. Well, if you come into Trump's era and you do like Trump, but now the market's been up 8 years in a row, what are you going to do? Join it 8 years in a row when you don't understand trend analysis? Most people can't. Because now it's like, well, fuck. So it creates all kinds of different psychological barriers from people being able to participate. Yeah, the hate on Obama kept millions out. And the fact is, I had people telling me directly that were in control of millions and millions of dollars. I sold assloads of foreclosures to fucking hedge funds. And when you sit around with those guys and have a couple drinks, they'll flat out tell you they hate him. And I'm like, you're controlling like 80 million bucks and you're not going to buy any stocks because of that. So I had those people literally telling me in my face from the fucking ground all the way up. I totally knew they wouldn't buy it. I'm not sort of telling you it's racism. I'm telling you that they told me in my fucking face themselves. Guys in charge of billions in fucking hedge funds told me stuff like that. And all the time, I sat at tables where guys would fucking make race jokes, and while we're closing houses, my partner would be like, bro, does that guy not even know you could be that race? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just hope he signs the rest of this thing and gets us the fuck out of here. It would be crazy. And we'd be sitting there talking to multi-millionaire after multi-millionaire after multi-millionaire that fucking I hate that motherfucker. He's such a piece of shit. He's a fucking Muslim. This, that, and the other. So why are you buying real estate? Real estate's heavily correlated to stocks, right? Oh, but this is something I can see and touch. He ain't got shit to do with this. Yes, he does. Real estate's a risk asset, and if you look at real estate with stocks, they are correlated risk assets. They are basically inversely correlated to gold, which is a risk-off asset. And the fact that you had people who said, I'm going to buy a house instead of buying Barack Obama's stock market because they thought the houses somehow weren't in his same fucking market was actually crazy. So I had a really close-up view of how just retarded the logic was for people to avoid finding their way into this. And they told themselves whatever they need to tell themselves to fucking justify it. Ultimately, the comic with Mitt Romney and Barack symbolizes just what level of stupid it was if you live in this country and plan to keep living here. The shit people told themselves to avoid something like this that they're never going to see again until they fucking die if they're anywhere near my age. It's just literally once in a lifetime shit. It's a generational markup that happens. You get one shot, and if you're mind fucked when it comes by, you're going to be an old man before you have a second shot, and you probably won't cure by then, If you were fucking a 20-year-old guy in 1980, this fucking bull market here runs 20 years. You would be 40 at the time that this thing happens. And if you're 40 years old and you miss this thing and realize that at the tail end and get damaged even in the bull market, this thing doesn't give you a shot probably to even recover from the psychological. This whole blue box, just treat this like the psychological damage that's going to happen Because, like I told you, I think about like Bitcoin. You know what? Something just crossed my mind. Every show we do this, something pops in my head when I chart with you guys. That's why I love doing this. I see something cool I'm going to teach you about right now. Right in my face. So funny. And my ears are...
Just a hot tip.
Dude, my ears are on fucking fire. What is happening?
Mine too.
Hold on, shit.
It's been going for a while.
Oh my god. I think I got blood loss in my fucking ears right now. Hold on, I gotta do something. Oh my god. Alright. So, hot tips. We'll get to this fractal pattern that's popping up in front of me here. Alright. So, am I crazy? Oh no, I'm not crazy. Okay. So the psychology of what happens in this crash, and think of it, it looks just like Bitcoin, right? You have your parabolic arc and your blow off, and the Nasdaq's not the original crash cycle chart. It's actually Cisco, but its correlation to the Nasdaq might as well be the Nasdaq. So when we look at this phenomenal eggplant blow off we have here, your crash psychology is kind of like this, right? Up until 9/11, 9/11 happens way down here. You'd think it's much higher. But the market's in a really bad state by the time 9/11 happens. This kind of dumps the psychology of the country into the absolute trenches. But up until this happens, right, everyone's still calling it a bull market. Just like the collapse of crypto in 2018, it's a bull market. It's a bull market. Just hodl. Just hodl. It has strong hands. Hodl's not the word of the day. Strong hands is the version of hodl in that time. You don't have strong hands. You don't have strong hands. Which is like goading you like a child, like to, baiting you into trying something just on ego. It's so dumb. And you see people talking like that. That's not investing. That's not anything. It's just children. Anyway, the psychology stayed like that. Even when 9/11 happened, about a month later, when this bounce happens, when you come out of this trench, this is enough to flip the psychology for people to start saying tech stocks are back. Right here. People were saying that right to me in the end of 2001. And in the front end of 2000, you roll down and break low, and you're going into Afghanistan, and the psychology here goes to absolute crap. Once you crack this low right here, I forget, sometimes you don't see that. I'll just draw it. Once this low gives way and the news has fucking war in it, people are completely mind fucked down here. Completely like fuck all of that. Let's make that blue. When you pump out of this, the housing thing to catch fire, like where everyone's like, I'm going to become a real estate investor, doesn't start here just yet. There's a reflation going on. There's a debt boom happening. There's a refi boom happening. So credit is getting easy again. The central banks put the interest rates into the ground. So you're expanding the money supply, and then you're fighting a war at the same time. People kind of realize that like cheap money now gives you access to start speculating. You can do pre-construction homes. You can start flipping those. And big money starting to get made just here, 2005, in the purchase market. Purchase market starts to boom, and literally a fucking credit explosion happens right here. In March 2006, there's a secondary market explosion. A huge buyback ripples back through the secondary markets and knocks a big wholesale mortgage originator out that I actually know about because I was part of that network. When they go down, nobody in the fucking retail market knows that the credit crisis has started, but it started right here already. This pullback is happening as basically a whole bunch of lines of credit are all exploding going into the back end of 2006. And the fucking retail market is getting more and more bullish because now real estate prices are hauling ass in 2006. This is probably the fastest part of the markup into 2007. At this point, everyone who's been damaged by the internet bubble has found a new saving grace in a different marketplace, and this isn't talked about anymore. Stocks are not really getting talked about until like literally the summer 2007. People are like, dude, the market's coming back too. And this is still connected to the people who are connected to this. Because from the point at which let's say a guy's 40 years old right here, right? And this market comes down and he's now going to be 42 years old and he's missed the internet bubble and mistimed it. And now he's going to go through here, right? By the time you get up to here, he's 47 years old. He's approaching being a senior citizen. He's crunch time because of his sense of mortality. This is how you have to look at price. Like all of this is in the price. So now the fucking like real estate, a second shot at what I missed here, I'm all in. And that's the sentiment here where everybody's flipping houses, and then that happens. Now this guy is 49 years old. And he's devastated across the last the last decade after this. And after coming of age at a time he didn't have enough perspective to really participate in this. He's participating in the latter part of life. He's burning the clock of the time that remains. And now, fucking, you come up here, and that guy is 51 years old. Definitely has more medical problems than he had before. Different part of life. Kids could be going to college. Different entire structure. The shockwave encompasses the life cycle. So you're just not where you were. If you have the capacity to take advantage of this, life will push you out of the fucking ability to do it when it comes back. He just can't come back. He's having to take care of health, older kids, and preparations for the latter part of life. He really doesn't have the ability to live as a speculator. So when this shockwave happens, leaving the entire range, the psychology is wrecked. From this point, Obama is now being fucking bashed in the news constantly after he's lost everything in this housing crisis. And yeah, who caused it? Fucking Obama. So now he can't touch it from the grave here. The psychological destruction right here has kept him off the bounce of the range that fuck it. It's the same range I got murdered in fucking Afghanistan. This hasn't gone fucking anywhere. So now this whole range is psychologically iced people, and you can mark up fucking a massive range of perception now that encompasses a fucking decade plus, which is you have to fucking corner the whole country in order to allow this to happen. So that's really like, make that a different color. That's kind of like the psychological story. So now a guy who's 51 years old, right? We said he'd be 51 in 2011. If this runs and the psychology it did to pin you with Obama keeps you out until Trump shows up, right? And then you manage to come up here and be like, okay, now I can at least deal with the guy that they made me hate getting out of the way, but now I've missed all of that. And you know people don't like to buy high because it looks like the highest price in history. So the psychology be like, well, when it pulls back, I'll get a piece. And that's when it goes fucking gas on you. Just like here. So that's the psychological makeup. Now, if he was 40, he is fucking 59, about to be 60 here. He is going to die. And the psychology of what the fuck has happened is that he doesn't have the perspective at age 20 to recognize what he's in. He's coming out of school. He's in the working world. Nixon's just been impeached. Not exactly sure what's going on. There's a fucking guy who's an actor who's the president. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's an actor. Don't exactly have confidence in that. The Russians want to kill us. Fucking the space shuttle just blew up. Fucking Black Monday. And the news is always as bad as you don't think it was in the past. Everything's a black swan. Oh my fucking God, the world's going to end. That narrative is always going on. And there's more people in the world today than there was yesterday. So the nominal level of craziness is crazier. Nominally. Because there's more of us. So consumption, everything in the world constantly rising as the population grows. And you're dealing with this entire curve of perception where there's a million reasons to bet against it. Now you're in Desert Storm over here, right? This is where Desert Storm happens. You're like, Jesus Christ. And then you get a president over here, you're pumping, and then he goes into fucking, you have a Asian contagion, you have an irrational exuberant speech from Alan Greenspan, 1996. Right here, Alan Greenspan tells people that you're having irrational exuberance. And so he fuds the entire country that fucking it doesn't make sense for the market to continue to do this because if the guy in the mailroom ends up making fucking $100,000, he won't work that job anymore. So you're having inflation at the producer level, which is wage inflation, which is dangerous. Prices are going to rise across the board. But the fact he tells people that in a very convoluted way, they don't fully recognize what he's saying. He's telling you that prices are rising at the baseline on the producer level. That's inflationary as fuck. And so that continues until you have the Asian contagion, which is a currency crisis, and then fucking Clinton ends up fucking impeached. Then it's like, Jesus Christ, you're at the all-time high here, and there's another reason to not touch it. That's always what's going on. A psychological fucking fixation that gets got to end. And people want to own that, and they feed you that nonsense that feeds the fear to think you're going to figure out the one candle that Armageddon happens. It's so stupid. So, that was a lot. You guys keep on that?
No, that was great. I don't know if my ears can take anymore.
Hold on. I don't hear you. What the fuck just happened?
You don't hear me?
Are you fucking, are you on fumes? You want to wrap it up? I can wrap. I'm only an hour. Oh, yeah, I'm an hour and the second half. Okay. I'm going to show you a fractal that's in here. And then I'll wrap so KJ doesn't lose his Obama ears. I got you.
Dude, like we're an hour, but we had like a 40-minute intermission.
Yeah, I know. The fucking tech problems tonight were fucking crazy. So let's see.
We got past it.
Let me get some of this stuff off of here. So the crash cycle. Let's revisit the crash cycle. KJ, this will help you too. So, all right, all right. I'm gonna leave my eggplant drawings in here because they're funny.
This guy goes, are we headed for another epic 20% market drop anytime soon? After all that, that's what you say? Come on, man.
That's
And will crypto be the preferred hedge when it does? Rip.
No, crypto, if you haven't noticed, is very, very correlated to the risk asset moves. It's moving with the market's hitting all time highs, and BTC just shot to the ceiling. Have you noticed with BTC's pulling back that markets have been pulling back? They're not a perfect correlation; they're loosely correlated. But BTC is very much acting like a risk asset, and absolutely not like a fucking risk off one. Not at all. He's moving with the market moves. Totally, totally, totally.
We did a Rekt Hour called "Not a Safe Haven."
Right.
Right.
We talked all about that. Yeah, that was that one. We talked about that with not a safe haven. BTC is a risk asset that just has deflationary characteristics. It's not fucking gold.
BTC was at 12K when we did that.
So over, let me change this. Let me just see if I miss any questions. I'm trying to be quick for your ears, boy. Let's see.
Yeah, man, my ears are fucked.
It's dude, my shit was fucking killing me. It's hard to listen. What your point is.
It's like strange things happening also with my jowls. Like
Your jowls?
I feel like I have like swollen glands like from these headphones.
How old are you? Nobody your age uses the word fucking jowls, bitch.
I'm an old soul.
Jesus Christ.
But you know that feeling like if you've like blown up too many balloons and then like get like that like tightness under your neck.
I don't think I've ever blowing up too many balloons since I was like fucking 13, bro.
Right, but you know the feeling I'm talking about.
Your head's gonna explode, yeah.
No, but you feel it like right in your lymph nodes. And when I do this for like, I guess it's an ear infection too. I mean, I've had these headphones on for 4 hours now, and it's not comfortable.
Let's see, Grant.
Yeah, it's killing me too. I know. Thank you, Stillman. KJ born in the 1800s.
Dude, fucking your jowls and your fucking. Let's see, Peter invented trading. That's funny. Peter invented TA. Fractal. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up here. Weaponize the eggplant.
It's like perforated eardrum. Yeah, that's why we call it Rekt Hour, because it wrecks me. And then when I go upstairs, my wife is very upset.
She wrecks him again.
Yeah, I get like, you think my night is over? I'm gonna go upstairs and like my son's gonna throw up on me. Like it's a whole night of wrecked. Like shit.
Wrecked week. Fractal nights, respect on the bits, homie. Munir BKKG, raining some bits too. Appreciate you. Let's see. Thanks, Stillman. Stat Magnus. Damn, I might have to take off some clothing for that shit. So I could get you a little look at his nips. Appreciate you, homie. Let's see. Damn, Henry, give me that birthday cake. You a little late, but I'm gonna take that birthday cake. Love me some cake. Pretty after the happening. Let's see. All right, I'm catching up. I think I'm caught up. All right, cool. So let's look at this chart in a way here. Let's go bring up the old school crash cycle everybody knows. Old school crash cycle everybody knows is this guy, right? Everybody knows this chart, right? KJ, you know this chart, right?
What's that? Oh, never seen it.
Never seen it. Okay. One thing about this chart is it isolates a particular part of the price and describes it emotionally. And this has been everybody's Bible since they discovered it. But it doesn't really give you the full nuances of the crash cycle, believe it or not. It's not fully descriptive of it. So when you look at let's click back and forth real quick. So I have two screens here. I'm going back and forth. So you look on the left. Let's zoom into where you can see the crash cycle on the left a little bit better and resolution-wise. So we'll go into weekly. I wonder if I should just take everything off again and just do it with something that has nothing on it. So I told you this about crypto too. So you see my yellow circle and you see that dumb move and you see the red circle. So I'd actually shown you this in the crypto baskets, and I think OBS is telling me I'm running out of time because it's acting crazy again. So what is the fucking crash cycle really? Let's send this guy to the back. Visual order, send to back. The crash cycle chart, as we know it, goes up to disbelief on the right hand side, and it's a pumping or recovering from the very depths of the lows. So when we go back and we look at it, like where depression is, where anger is, and so on, we look at it here at the depths of anger, depression, right? Anger is going to be coming down here. It's like one of the last lows you make, and then depression is the trenches where everybody's fucked up. The move that you have on the crash cycle chart is the move that goes up to this point, and then they cut the chart off. That's an interesting thing. You look at it, right? You look at the chart side and you look at it, well, the crash cycle is all there is, but the crash cycle is actually bigger than this. So let's we're on what template? We're on a crypto template. I have another analysis hidden in here. Crypto wave. Okay. I'm going to have to power up for this segment. Okay. We're gonna have to fucking take this up to another level. So this chart has a full looping pattern, but it's bigger than they've indicated. And apparently, I need that hand back to work this chart. What's going on? Not moving. Alright, so zoom out a little bit more. Clear to the left a little bit more. And I want you to really look at it. You know what? Do I want to clear the drawings on this or get a new chart? IXIC. Let's see if I can use a different version of it. Okay, cool. I'll just use the NAS 100. This guy doesn't have any drawings. Ah, shit! Okay, he does have some drawings. I won't be using him. Well, I have the emotions on it, so that's actually quite useful. So, you know what? I did not realize where this chart was. It's in my crypto charts. Put a NASDAQ chart in my crypto charts, wonder why the fuck I lost track of this shit. Alright, let's get this off of here. Let's say. You guys will dig this. Give me a second. Huh, where did my euphoria go? Clearly that's missing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I have to get my guy for euphoria again, but obviously this isn't the right guy. I'll get him off for now. Let's get somebody else for that. Okay. So like I said, on the right side chart, we go to disbelief from depression. So on my chart, I move disbelief. But that's actually not what I'm going to show you. So we look at this whole strike and it crashes and you go, well, where's the next crash cycle? Well, this cycle is not really done. See, because this part of the trade here, this is something that I recognize to be part of the crash cycle. This reflation trade is like oh my God. This move is what really kills the psychology to allow this move. This entire part has to happen to get rid of people from the crash cycle. Oh, what the fuck is happening right there? Fuck out of my way. Sorry, alright. Yeah, this entire part has to happen. This is the psychological destruction that finishes the people from the internet bubble. So it's not fully done, right? It doesn't just crash and then they come back and be, oh, I'm back in part of it. This structure happens and it's like a dead cat bounce of the crash cycle that then murders you and fully finishes you off, adds the amount of time that further time corrects you away from the event, and then when it leaves, the destruction and the life changes will put you in a place that you can't participate. And then you can have a whole new cycle of a whole new scale. Likely the same thing as you're seeing right here, but far bigger. Oh, this thing's fucking killing me. Get off. Fucking everything up. So this is the entire crash cycle itself. This is the climb of another version of this side of the arc right here. But it is going to lead to a crash cycle that is monumentally bigger than this guy. So this entire arc is this. And where the top of this version is going to be structurally similar to this guy. But this entire piece, this orange piece in the middle, this is massively overlooked. So I'll show you something pretty cool with this, right? So this piece actually fits with my other fractal. Not that. So let's put these side by side. Okay, I'll put this on the other side. So B&B is leading a structure I think is worth watching in oil. And it's a crash cycle, but you might not recognize it as one just yet. Okay. So look at what I just showed you right now, right? And I'm going to show it to you in B&B. So B&B, come on. See it? It's your bull pump up to 5, the orange, right? The bull pump up to 5, the crash that kills everybody, and I get a different color for that. And then what you consider the housing boom, do that. Ew, that's terrible. How about red? That works. And then from 7, right, this move down, the housing crash, whatever, the housing crash, right? And then an even bigger bull market. That's actually the whole cycle. I'm out of colors? Whatever, green works. That's the whole cycle. So this part that they've isolated, the crash cycle down to depression and then disbelief, they cut it off. But you have a rollover and a secondary dead cat bounce, and then the full psychological destruction, the climax actually happens here. And then you can mark up the full death of everybody in the structure prior to a larger version of itself. Now tell me you can't see B&B in the stock market shaped like that. It's literally, that's the whole cycle. They left out the rest of the crash cycle, but that's it. See it? This is the fully evolved crash cycle. For all of you who didn't realize that it actually has a deeper structure. So they've cut off the crash cycle here, but it's not correct. That's the whole cycle. I actually introduced this in 2014, and most people didn't catch it. I can show it to you too. Let's see, where is it at? I think you could even see it in like gold. Gold exhibits it, even though it's a skewed cycle. Oh, you're down, KJ. I'm wrapping up.
No. I was about to ask you a question, actually.
So look at the structure of gold, right? Go back to gold. So you have your climax, like your internet bubble, your crash, your reflation trade, but this elongated shockwave happens in the fear cycle. And then after you break everyone's back and dump back down to the base of where the original crash was, you get the bigger pump and a new crash cycle. See it?
Yep.
Complete cycle now. You're seeing it in 3 different places. It's a lot longer than people think. If the crash is going to start and then start over again, you have to fully kill the emotions of the spike. And so the entire structure is that. And then you get a larger possible fractal can emerge of the same thing yet again. So you can actually see B&B is leading the one I'm watching, which is CL1. time frame I'm on here. See it? So you can see this now in oil, right? See the same setup? See the internet bubble? See the housing boom? See the housing crash? And the projection is if he fills it in, we go fucking something stupid like that. So that's a pretty good window into fractals, but that's a complete crash cycle now. And now you guys know that it goes a little bit beyond what that fucking chart everyone passes around the internet says. All right, what was your question?
Like comparing BNB, like
Uh-huh.
in these resolutions, it appears that flag that goes down and kills everybody for a second time by number 8
Yeah.
is like it happens over a more drawn out period, whereas
Right.
in NAS and crude it happened more rapidly based on that resolution. Like when you look at the factor in the time, it wasn't more rapidly.
Well,
But
it's like
in comparison to the rest, like why do you think it
you know,
stretched out
you have a death
proportion?
dump, right? You have a death dump, and you have the killer move that comes a certain period after. It comes after at a point that the market can become complacent enough to be killed by it, you know? So this move here, okay, I don't know what that is. What is that? This move here basically was, so this move in oil is so vicious back, it's really violent to come back up to 120 off of fucking 30. The speed of it is going to be relatable to the emotions of it. Faster the price, the faster the emotions are. So to get people to go completely back to bull mode of fucking the internet bubble happens really violently in the reflation trade of oil as gold makes all-time highs up here in 2011. So the psychology goes completely tilt on commodities once gold is shown 1900. So, well, fuck, if gold is there based on historic fucking valuations between gold and fucking oil could be X amount higher. So that was part of the psychology of oil right here, that oil was full bull mode again, and then it just fucking obliterated them. So you look at the internet bubble, right? It's drawn out across a period of time. It's what it takes for the psychology to flip. So this piece here, the number 7 of BNB, and the stock market, when you're bouncing in the housing boom, it takes that much time from 2001, 2002's bottoming and then crashing again to 2008 and 9 to fucking get all the people who could have hung on from the internet bubble to fully fucking die. And then run it to the fucking ceiling while everybody coming in has no idea what they're walking into yet again.
Is Bitcoin's volatility a narrative? Because like looking at this, so it's like I would have never known that crude oil took a drawdown like that. Like when you look at it, like people always talk about Bitcoin because of all the crashes that it's had, because it happens faster. It has faster cycles than other assets. It's
But you know what
so
I'm doing?
small.
Forget the time frame. I'm comparing stuff in all kinds of time frames, just really in the
Right.
behavior and the shape. Bitcoin's going to do what it does in whatever cycle of time it does. I don't think that's something that really matters. You know, when I look at oil versus BNB, and BNB is doing this inside a calendar year, and oil's doing it across a decade, who gives a fuck really? The stock
Right, but
market-
like I'm saying, I guess the point that I was trying to make is that you have an 80% drawdown almost on crude oil, but when I haven't heard people describe crude oil as like a high risk investment. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in Bitcoin, it's like everybody warns you, oh, this is very high risk.
Oh well, trading commodities in one is definitely more risky and speculative than stocks and real estate. So commodities are treated speculative to begin with, and the amount of people that are actually stepping into futures is few and far between. I don't think anybody tells you oil is not risky and not subject to fucking crazy fucking geopolitical risk with what goes on in the Middle East either. You know, it's in the news going back and forth every next minute. So I don't think oil's ever been sold as like a low risk asset either. It's definitely volatile. Commodities are known to be more volatile in many cases than like the S&P. So I don't think
that's a sick drawdown though. Holy shit!
Fucking
like that happened fast.
Oh,
like,
this one? Because this is where's it like go at? November 2014. I can't remember what the catalyst was when I came off a bridge like that. But this knife catch here at number 8. You remember this?
2014, huh?
Well, this is when you're coming down. So actually, I put a chart up in the summer of 2014 for crypto, warning about BTC's pullback in 2014, and basically you had like a risk-off move hit the market, and all assets, dominant dollars got wrecked. So Bitcoin got hit, and this is how you can tell Bitcoin is not fucking a hedge on risk assets. He came down in this exact move. He got crushed into the fucking bear market into 2015, right? And then Bitcoin pumps in the back end of fucking 2015. Well, guess what? These things pumping. It's loose correlated, but Bitcoin is actually correlating to risk assets. Very, very, very much so. But yeah, the dollar is strong that year. There's a bull market in the dollar, and it levels every fucking thing on the planet and shoves the fucking oil down to the trenches right here.
Dude, Number 6. What's the date on number 6 on crude? Because my dad used to trade crude.
It's the
And
housing crisis. That's fucking February 2009. That's going right into the
Oh,
fucking.
he was already gone.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was already
Everybody's
gone.
dead when this.
I'm trying to figure out what wiped them out.
Oh man, I mean, look at the speed of liquidation of crude. Crude comes down to like a stick, bro.
So
Just
my
months.
parents got divorced when I was like around 7 or 8, I think. So
So you thinking the financial stress of the market actually fueled that? That could be true.
yeah.
Yeah, this
There was a
this,
lot of stuff happening during
this
that
this
time.
kind of stuff very much will fuck families. Like you got to remember, like the short's not happening without a human being, so somebody's family is being annihilated for sure by this move. And that's the reality of it. People misdirecting people into shit like this. You're destroying someone's fucking family without giving a shit that you've done it, and that's a problem. But it very much has happened quite a bit. That graph you're looking at right there is actually pretty cool. Hold on, I'll show you something.
My dad was trying. So
What is it doing? What did you say?
he got out. He got out around the original World Trade Center bombing.
Oh
was
wow,
like-
that's like 1993, man.
Yeah, it was around that time.
That's way back. Okay, yeah, that's not to do with this. Where'd it go? Number 7 down to there. Yeah, this is when I made this. Oh, wrong chart. Hold on. Look. So down there, number 8. Where's number 8 at? Number 8 is 26, 24 is a low. Number 8 is February 2016. That is when I put this out. This is the knife catch of oil. Our whole channel caught this. We out-timed Warren Buffett. This is the second biggest catch in fucking history behind the stock market. This actually, Warren Buffett steps into oil in September as it's waving down at $48 a barrel. I priced it against every asset in the world and posted it right here, January 17th, 2016, when it's trading down at 28 bucks. And that's where both of the guys in my core channel stepped in and fucking hit this along with myself. And that is the single best, biggest short squeeze in history recorded in the CME at that time. This is literally the biggest fucking counter move catch ever recorded at this date. Pretty cool.
Know your history.
Know your history. We're on number 8, bitches. Don't call me lucky on 13 or number 8. So if you want to get full perspective of how ridiculous that catch is, that crazy get the fuck out generational ejection of oil, we have that. Literally the best catch publicly fucking called by any analyst. We've been doing this a long time. When you out-time the Oracle of Omaha not once but twice in 2 biggest crashes in history in 2 different asset classes, and they still try to explain it away or hide your work, we call that a footprint, bitch. Yeah, we know why you lie. It's all good. You can't delete history, motherfuckers. So that was the news stories at the time too, for some sentiment. Look what was happening at the very top of the climax of oil. Check this out. Look familiar? Oracle. They call Vinny the Oracle. Oracle.
The Oracle.
Watch out when you see that shit. May 2008, right? We're up at 132 a barrel. I think the top is 148. And then now he targets 200 from there. After that has happened. Then when he gets down to the trenches, what do you know? Oil may fall to 18. Look where that story comes out at. Got to be fucking kidding me, bro. Who you think's killing you guys at home? Stop your fucking addiction. These people are lying to you. Documented. Look. That's a fucking devastating fucking turn of events right there. You shove the population in here and you annihilated them there. That is how markets work. There is no money coming from fucking like, an alien. Your money is coming from a person who fucking mispriced reality. You are inheriting somebody's fucking, tears. You're literally buying people's tears. And they're helping fucking make sure there's an excess of tears for everybody. Well, for them. So that's a different perspective. So you can see this crash cycle, oops. And like I said, it's a crash, the reflation trade, and then the secondary crash is the fucking backbreaker. That's the one that says, you just say, you know what? This is just not for me. Like, hey, have you seen oil? It's pushing 300. I don't even want to see that. I don't want to look at the chart anymore. Back in the day, I used to look at trading when I was younger, and it was interesting and stuff. It's like, no, you should really look. It's been in the bull market for the last 7 years. Yeah, but if I come, I don't know. You're just not gonna look. And that's 10 years in the stock market going boom. It's bigger than the internet bubble. No one wants to look still. That's the level of psychological damage you need for a bull market. Bull markets do not end in a single bounce. They end in mass fucking graves. No one will be there. When a real bull market's coming, you won't fucking believe it. Even though I fucking told you like this, you still won't believe when it happens. And that's a memo. You know who I stole that from, right?
Who?
Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We'll do it live. So that was pretty. That was a lot of stuff. I'm gonna hold there just because that's like so much shit. But now you guys have a full description of a crash cycle and some interesting fractals to look at. Is the oil one gonna fucking work out? Still watching for developments. We see stuff in Venezuela with Russia with Syria, Turkey, the oil situation with Trump wanting to go after that. There is a lot of crazy shit in the world that geopolitical risk looks like, the fundamentals are in place for supplies to be hit, but you still have to wait for it to prove itself, wait for it in the chart. Does this mean that we can be both on the gold fractal and other fractal with BTC now, but now is depending on how people believe the market is, like the current price of BTC now can become the housing bubble if too many people follow the gold fractal? I think I'd have to hear you say that question in voice. I think I've mixed that up in my head what you're trying to ask me exactly there.
Sounds like he's talking about gold fractal not being scarce. If you
Oh.
you can see everybody abandoned the gold fractal. I
Right.
haven't seen one person bring it up.
The price deviated enough to not look similar enough to get them to go, it's not it. And that's like, it's like the danger of following it so closely that you're like, it needs to be this because you don't want to do any work to like manage like the price unfolding in time. We come in these shows and we look at the price over time and we look at what it's doing and keep an accurate track, and you shouldn't be scared to adjust your analysis. That's why I told you it was deviating. I'm aware of the fractal. I'm the one who found it, but the fact is, like, you still have to manage. There is going to be like some subtle differences in nuanced differences in people from day to day when you do a fractal overlay, and so you don't want to lose sight of that because you're like, it has to follow this. It has to follow this. It doesn't have to do shit. It can deviate tomorrow if that's what it's going to do. It can become anything. I don't think you want to sit here and try to figure out what it's going to become and then act as if you know and then move on that with that kind of motivation. But let the price breathe. Follow it, let it breathe, and make your analysis objective and keep updating as it unfolds. Be willing to evolve your logic with the evolving, unfolding price, and don't be so rigid you can't let price breathe and it has to fucking follow your analysis or oh my fucking god.
Relaxed user says Bitcoin doesn't seem like the people who were in 2017 run-up are fully dead, gone, depressed. I feel like everyone still expects BTC to eventually pass all-time high. So
Trust me, there's a lot of deaths from 2017. If you knew
Yeah.
who was into 2017 coming from the 2015-14 cycles, a lot of them guys are dead. Lots of the dumb money who came in. The OGs still survived because they're killing you to survive. But the 90% horde of people who came in as zealots for 14, 15, 16, bro, they're dead. They've been dead.
most of them are gone.
That's
They're
all-
gone. You're just seeing like the last of the Mohicans now.
Look in crypto Twitter. Notice that you don't see many crypto accounts created in 2016. They're all 2017 people that are pretty much dominating the scene right now, or the OGs from 14, a few from 15. Look and notice that there's no Twitter accounts that are like main characters in Twitter that are created in 16. The entire fucking market in front of that is dead. They killed them. The guys I'm showing these charts, that's the thing. If you don't get rid of them, once you're financially destroyed, you can't do anything. Those people who they killed, they're gone. You can't find their bodies. So you're the new potential victims. And if you don't do anything, they're going to kill a whole fuck ton of you too. That's how you keep having cycles of dead bodies and crashes, because the willful ignorance of people who want to be in the position of those assholes who are fucking shitty, degenerate people will enable them to sit there and keep killing people like you. Because you're hoping to get to be them, which means that you're all the same kind of guy, which is deplorable. So if you actually sit there and enable degenerate people and then wonder why life is hard, it's hard because you don't do anything about it. The reality is, I give you enough evidence, and I watch all the crypto sit there and enable it, and then cry while they're getting smashed. Getting smashed because you all fucking enable terrible people, and you fucking loved it. And I'm not
Listen to some good comments coming through. So ninth letter, I survived, and the majority of people I know personally who came in on hype are dead. Some had to quit their job from losing people money at work on shit coins. Right?
Yep.
All these. Yeah, all the people who were in crypto when I started are all gone.
They're dead.
At least 20 people, all were alt hodlers. I may have been the only one that sold, and probably why I'm still here. I still can't get them to look at a chart. You got to think of how many people, um, like when you say, like, you're just like looking at Twitter and like, oh, all right, somebody's bullish. First off, a couple of days ago, nobody was bullish, right? We were at
Right.
7,500. I didn't see too many people. That the concept of longing that was scarce, definitely was clearly. Um, so I think you need to reassess your sentiment, Reed.
Yeah, that too. You can be myopic and pick one person and use him as an example that he's not really. You don't really have proper context yet. All things are always relative, and if you find like a group of people who seem to be relatively, in your mind, dumb, but somehow on the right side of a trade, then someone is even dumber is the victim, and in greater numbers.
This Balbosky guy is annoying me.
Okay, what's going on there? I don't know.
He's annoying, very annoying. Yeah, nobody talks about crypto anymore. Exactly. Think about all the people that came in. Think about the people. So if you were around in 17 and you
Mm.
didn't come in at the top, think about all the people that did come in at the top because that's where everybody showed up. Everybody showed up in December and January. That's when people that you were telling to buy finally bought.
Right. People got comfortable. Well, the complacency. That's exactly why it's called the complacency shoulder, right? When you're talking about the crash cycle, um, what one thing I was pointing out about this structure is. Oh, hang on. Let me move my chart. Something's not going on right there. What is going on there? Where'd he go? Yeah, the complacency show. One thing you note about it, right? As far as like shockwaves go, the complacency show that like literally occupies the most time. So it's the most sideways part of the chart when you're dealing with the pumps. When you're dealing with BTC pumping the whole of 2017, it never really stays anywhere long. You know, he's shockwaving near hope for a little while, and he's grinding higher and higher and higher through optimism and belief. But complacency, if you look at it, it spends the most time there. And if you know anything about time in a shockwave, it gets a chance for people to become retarded, like we just saw with Bitcoin now. That's what gets the most people like who've not participated in the 2017 spike to have the emotions distance themselves a little bit to like this could be my chance. We just need to cool off a little bit, but this could be big. This could go to 100,000. And they're not in the emotions of the fast-paced market here. They've got a little time to think. But in slow markets, you know, smart money builds positions. So this person who's envious of the people who made money here wants his chance. It dumps enough off the high to be like, this is the pullback I needed. Because they don't like to buy the high price and sell higher. They want to buy the dip. So this is the dip of all fucking dips. And when you have the conviction like I'm going to get my piece, you won't fucking put a stop. You're an investor. I'll hodl because I know that this is fucking gonna be good. You know, my investments are with great companies and you deny it. This is fucking what makes up a crash. The bulk of people don't really get in this. The pace is so fast, people are scared, there's new entrants to the market, and the new entrants are coming in exponentially. So the exponential demand over fucking supply is happening, which is reflected in the parabolic arc that you see. But the reality is that the bulk of the people gain their confidence at the worst possible moment. When the emotions fucking completely distort reality and you just have to have a piece. All the stuff you couldn't participate in from disbelief to hope to optimism, you're like, fuck it. I want my piece of this before fucking I get left. And when it gets to complacency, everyone who's not part of that's like, I want a piece of this before I don't get my Lambo too. And they feed that with hopes and dreams in the bear market. And then people like the shitbag OGs keep pumping that idea in your head like CNBC and fucking finish destroying you completely. It's the same fractal. Schiller or fucking Vinny or any of those guys, they're the same thing. I'm showing you who kills you without any fucking interpretation needed. Versions of it over and over and over. And the person killing the whole crowd will almost always be celebrated by the very people that they're killing. That's the craziest thing. Don't break the bank, server leader. Appreciate you.
They never turn on them.
Huh?
They never turn on them.
The crowd? Well, that's the thing. So because the people want to fucking make X amount of money, they want to be the Lambo guy, whatever. They give the degenerate a free pass long enough for him to financially destroy them. And once you're financially destroyed, your voice is gone. You lose capacities, right? So you're out of the market, so you don't have time to kill them. New victims come by, and the fucking people you've killed, those dead bodies, they don't see them. They don't actually know the story of what you've done. What I do is put on the chart all the fucking people you killed, which is why they freaked out. Because now the old people who are coming in you will know you killed people in the last cycle. Your entire business model dies. Don't you get why the shitbags have to go after me? You can't do any of what you're doing. I documented the fact. I documented who fucking makes up the wave. It's them that's actually feeding everybody into the fucking wrong end of the market.
Yeah, in essence, you're stopping their bag.
Right. I'm stopping them from fucking victimizing the whole crowd. But then the whole crowd allowed them to victimize.
They turn on you.
Right. Which then allowed them to go kill the crowd again. So the crowd is actually their own problem. It's not the OG. It's all the people who make a rapist be the president. He's a piece of shit. But everybody else who lets him be there, they're worse. So it's actually karma. The crowd enables the degenerates in society who then ultimately victimize their asses. All the poor people in the red states that fucking live at the bottom line and are on the farms that got fucked by the trade war and fucking has policies and factory closures, they voted in a billionaire thinking he would protect the person making less than $50,000. If you fucking think a billionaire gives a shit about you when you make less than $250,000, you're fucking stupid. Only stupid.
Yep.
He not only is flagrantly fucking in the hands of people worth fucking assloads of money, he's not fucking with any poor people. What the fuck movie you been watching? But that's what people sell themselves. You think these guys talking about I got a Lambo, I dump on my followers, gives a fuck about you fucking paying your bills this month? Are you fucking stupid? That's just, it doesn't take a lot to figure it out. I'm dressed like a fucking alien. And I'm telling you shit that makes fucking more sense than that. Just use your fucking head. You don't need to listen to anybody in a mask or a suit. Just, if it doesn't make fucking sense, you can figure it out. Just think a little bit. So,
do something.
I think that's a memo on that. We'll do a quick look at Bitcoin, Litecoin.
What?
No? Okay. KJ's calling
It's
it
enough.
right there. KJ's calling it right there.
It's enough. No.
You know, I like the,
It's like 5 fucking hours. It's
right,
enough.
God damn it. KJ's had it. You guys, no more fucking hot tips. KJ's calling it over. Goomba, KJ's had it.
Shut it down. All
right, Jesus Christ. Well, I was going to look at baskets of shitcoins because I've seen some interesting things that relate to the fractal that I have here that you might care about.
Well, they're going to have to tune in next time and make sure they subscribe.
But timing matters, and if I didn't tell you about the timing... All right. Jesus Christ. KJ combo breaker. Unbelievable.
It's enough. Leave them wanting more. No, I can watch it whenever I want.
If you guys knew what I was going to show you next, you'd fucking...
5 hours.
But if you knew what I had next, KJ...
No, you're going to tell me after the stream. I'm just going to take my fucking headphones off.
But KJ, it's the difference between fucking, reality being what we want and what people fucking think it has to be.
See, they don't want me to stay.
They want
Fuck you.
reality. They want the power! God damn it.
KJ, you don't have to stay.
KJ, you have to stay. What's better than one Infinity Gauntlet, bitches?
All right, be like that.
2 Infinity Gauntlets, bitches! God damn it.
Got something for your ass.
Don't hate. What? What you got for my ass?
Not you. I'm talking about the chat.
What are you hating?
Talking shit.
KJ,
They're mad at me. I'll be the villain. This is Goomba KJ. I don't play that shit.
Goomba KJ.
It's time.
Dude.
Give me more likes. Give us more likes. More retweets.
So, you guys have to
We
tell
did
me.
5 hours already. This is crazy.
Is it that long? It doesn't feel like I've been out an hour, bro. I just got this thing to work.
What are you it's almost 3 in the morning. What are you talking about?
Crazy OBS shit was fucking me in the ass in the beginning. I'm ready to fucking do some fucking good stuff now. This is where the good TA in the show comes in, KJ. You can't stop me now. I have fucking more power than I know what to do with.
Oh my god.
Look at this shit. Are you serious? Ah! Yeah, I love these things, bro. I can't stop fucking around these things. I've been thinking about this a long
This is
time,
ridiculous.
Well, if you really think about it, and you look at the geopolitical situation going around the world, the way I feel about it. Come on, this is fun. You can articulate all the figures. It's fucking awesome. I don't care what you say. Everybody should have an Infinity Gauntlet. Snapping OGs out of existence. Fractal TA. You damn right. Anyway, I guess that's a Rekt Hour, bitches. Till next time.
Ah, you're wrecked. They're not.
See you on the flip, motherfuckers.